So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let me, inshallah, begin by showing you a image. But whilst I load that image up, I just want to mention a few things. So you know when we said rebuttal round, you're supposed to rebut what I said in my introduction, because I'm about to rebuttal what you said in your introduction. You just did a 5-minute rebuttal round and you didn't even mention anything that I mentioned in my introduction. You didn't counter any of my claims. You didn't even answer my question, which was show me one verse in the Quran where Allah says, I am pleased with all the Sahaba. So, you know, unfortunately you weren't able to do that. But let me just get this image for you just to show you something. 1 second. Okay, so brothers and sisters, I'm going to show you an image here before I begin my first rebuttal round. So just 1 second, let me just turn my camera on and then let me show you guys this, okay? Okay, can you guys see this? So this is basically the house of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Yes, here on the left are 3 graves, then there's a barrier in between. And this is a bird's eye view of what you say is the Hujra of Aisha, yes? Look at the dimensions of this room, brothers and sisters. Look that there's a bed there, and then look at the gap on the left and the bottom. Just remember this in your mind, that this is the gap between. Mention some things to you, inshallah. So, now that you've seen the bird's eye view of the house of Aisha, which was obviously the house of the Prophet, but I'm going to begin my first rebuttal round, okay? So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says within the glorious Quran. Yeah, I know. Allah subhanahu, don't interrupt me, right? That's your first warning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in chapter 33, verse 53, O you who believe, do not enter the houses of the Prophet unless permission is given. And when you ask his wives for something, ask them from behind a barrier. Why? Because that is purer for you and your hearts and the hearts of the wives, okay? Okay. Now we look at Sahih Muslim 2172a. Uqba ibn Amir reported that Allah's messenger said, beware of getting into the houses and meeting women in seclusion. So we've got a verse of the Quran that says, ask permission before you enter the Prophet's house. We have a hadith where the Prophet says, do not meet women in seclusion. I pose a question to you. Is Allah pleased with the following men? I'm going to mention 4 incidences to you within the time frame that I have. The first one, Abdullah ibn Shihab, Sahih Muslim 290. He says, Abdullah, I stayed in the house of Aisha and had a wet dream. And I dipped my clothes in water, and this act of mine was watched by the maidservant of Aisha. She informed her. Aisha then sent me a message and told me that it was okay. You didn't need to wash your garment. You could have just scraped off the semen, as I used to do with the Prophet. So what do we see here? We see that a man stayed in the house of Aisha without the permission. He had a wet dream, and Aisha is teaching him how to scrape semen off the clothes. The second person is called Hammam ibn al-Harith. This is in Sunan Abu Dawood 371. Hammam al-Harith reported, he had a sexual dream whilst he was staying with Aisha. The slave of Aisha saw him washing his clothes, and then Aisha told him, oh, it's fine, you could always just scrape off the semen, as I used to do with the Prophet. So what does this show you? That another man is sleeping in the house of Aisha, having a wet dream, and then being told a fiqh principle. You can just scrape semen off your clothes, okay? Sahih Muslim 288a. This shows that Al-Qama and Aswad reported, a person stayed in the house of Aisha and in the morning began to wash his garments. Aisha said, in case you saw semen on your clothes, you don't have to wash it, you can just scrape it off. So this is the third person sleeping in the house of Aisha and having a wet dream. And finally we have the fourth person, Sunan ibn Majah 538. Hammam ibn Harith reported that a guest came and stayed in the house of Aisha, and Aisha gave him a yellow blanket to sleep with. He had ejaculation on the blanket. When he woke up, he saw the semen on the blanket. He felt embarrassed. I can't give Aisha this blanket back. Oh my God, what have I done? He begins to wash the blanket. Aisha says, why did you wash it? If you were worried about semen, you could have just scraped it off, you know, the way I did with the Prophet. So my question is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with these 4 men who entered the house of Aisha without permission? And what are the odds that all 4 of these men are having ejaculation in the house? Now you all saw the bird's eye view, yes? You saw the house. So if Aisha isn't, no, it's not, I've still got 20 seconds, brother, come on. If Aisha is there in the house, yes, where's this person sleeping? He's not sleeping next to the Prophet's grave, is he? You saw the bird's eye view. 4 men. Is Allah pleased with these 4 men? All 4 of them are Sahaba, by the way. Now you tell me, Suhail, is Allah pleased with men ejaculating next to the Prophet's grave? That's my question to you. Okay.
Time out.
Make sure you answer my question.
I will. That's it. Your time's out.